Look at your life right now. Every decision, habit, and sacrifice has brought you to this exact moment. But deep down, you know there's a gap between who you are and who you could be. Most people assume that failing to reach potential comes down to laziness, lack of talent, or bad luck. But modern psychology reveals something far more alarming. Your brain's primary function isn't to make you successful, wealthy, or fulfilled. Its main goal is simple: survival through energy preservation. Imagine Sarah, a talented graphic designer who dreams of starting her own agency. She buys the courses, sets up a domain, and designs her logo. Whenever it comes time to pitch real clients or launch, Sarah finds endless excuses to reorganize her portfolio or tweak her brand design. Productive procrastination, tricking your brain into feeling accomplished while actively avoiding the high-stakes work that actually drives progress and growth. If she never launches, she can never be rejected. Potential remains intact because it remains untested in the real world. The comfort loop is an insidious psychological cycle where safety becomes an addiction, quietly stripping away your ambition day by day. Stage 1 of the loop is a cue, a moment of inspiration followed immediately by an awareness of the effort required to achieve it. Stage 2 is friction. Your brain registers the incoming stress, uncertainty, and discomfort associated with hard work. Stage 3 is escape. Scrolling social media, checking email, cleaning the house, or consuming educational content without applying it. Stage 4 is rationalization, telling yourself you'll start fresh tomorrow, next Monday, or when conditions are finally perfect. Consider David, a mid-level corporate analyst who spends hours every night watching podcasts about entrepreneurship and peak performance. Neuroscientists refer to this as vicarious accomplishment. The brain's struggle to distinguish between watching someone succeed and succeeding yourself. Years roll past. The gap between his knowledge and his actual reality grows wider, breeding a quiet, underlying bitterness, without the psychological tolerance to endure the friction of execution. It turns out that high intelligence and awareness can often be your greatest liability when it comes to personal fulfillment. Your brain projects the embarrassment, risk, and effort required, calculating that inaction is far safer than potential failure. Failure is active, immediate, and informative. Inaction is passive, invisible, and comfortable, allowing you to maintain a fantasy of competence. This protection mechanism is tied to a concept studied extensively in cognitive psychology: self-handicapping. If you stay up late before an important interview or delay preparing a key project, you create a built-in excuse for poor performance. Either way, your underlying self-worth remains protected from direct scrutiny and deep personal evaluation. Over time, self-handicapping erodes your self-efficacy, the fundamental belief in your ability to execute tasks and reach goals. Think about Marcus, who spent 5 years planning to launch a software company while staying in a comfortable, low-stress job. But every time a real opportunity arose to pitch investors or quit his safe job, he suddenly found reason to delay. In truth, Marcus was terrified of discovering that his best effort might still fall short of success. This protection of potential over performance is why millions of talented individuals live lives of quiet, agonizing mediocrity. But human psychology reveals that unexpressed potential doesn't simply vanish. It slowly turns inward, transforming into self-resentment. The brain detects a discrepancy between your internal narrative and your external reality, causing chronic cognitive dissonance. You feel constantly exhausted, not from doing too much, but from doing too little of what actually matters to your core identity. The first step is adopting what psychologists call identity-based action, shifting focus from external results to internal self-concept. When behavior becomes tied to identity rather than arbitrary outcomes, resistance loses its primary psychological leverage. The second shift requires rewriting your relationship with microfailures through a lens of systematic desensitization. You must deliberately seek small, low-stakes rejections and failures until your nervous system realizes they are not fatal. Think of risk tolerance as a physical muscle. If you never stress it, it atrophiates until the slightest friction paralyzes you. Unsuccessful people focus entirely on the end target. High performers focus exclusively on removing friction from the immediate starting step. If you want to write, open the document on your desktop screen the night before, leaving the cursor ready on a blank line. Willpower is a finite emotional resource that depletes rapidly under stress, decision fatigue, and physical tiredness. Consider Elena, a medical researcher who struggled for years to complete her independent research papers after long shifts. Exhausted from work, she almost always surrendered to the couch, feeling deeply guilty as another week slipped away. She committed to writing for just 5 minutes immediately after pouring her morning coffee, no matter what. Most mornings, once the initial friction disappeared, momentum took over, and she continued writing for an hour or more. Momentum is a fundamental secret weapon of individuals who fulfill their potential. Action always precedes motivation, never the reverse. Another critical psychological barrier to address is task-contingent self-esteem, tying your self-worth to perfection. High performers separate their human value from their immediate performance, viewing output simply as data to be refined. This subtle shift converts terrifying personal stakes into a curious, objective scientific experiment. Take a long, honest look at your current daily routines, habits, and environment. Are you keeping your ideas safely stored away in notebooks, perpetually refining them so they remain immune to real-world critique? Here is the ultimate truth that psychology teaches us. The fear will never fully go away. Courage is not the absence of fear. 10 years from today, you will inevitably arrive. The only true question is where and who you will have become. The tragedy of life isn't dying too young. It's living long while allowing the finest version of yourself to slowly fade away. Stop waiting for the perfect circumstances, the flawless plan, or the sudden surge of unshakable confidence. Pick the project you've been delaying. Identify the smallest possible action step you can take within the next hour. Strip away the excuses. Embrace the necessary friction of beginner mistakes, and let your results speak for themselves. It's time to stop worshiping your potential. Step out of the shadows of comfort and finally start living it out loud. Thank you for watching. The journey to your true potential begins the exact second you choose to act. See you in the next breakdown.